Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. My name is Jeremy, and I have been playing Grayson Digby.
This is Johnny, and I'm playing Jorus, Glave.
This is Aaron. I play Brother Benedict.
This is Jeff. I normally play Demetrius Norden.
And my name is Jordan, and I've been playing Idarin Mar, Lord Rafe Liverich, Baron Roger Cheddar, the Goat Man. The Goat Man. And
the evil entity hanging above the church.
Yes.
Or not the
Parliament.
church, but the
Parliament.
Parliament.
It was a good session.
Yeah. It was kind of a creepy session. We didn't really know what to expect as far as, like, something was going to jump out and kill all of us.
Yes, I think again we're expecting that around every corner again.
Yeah.
The way we were, it was a while ago. I remember there was one. It must have been the mirror episode.
Which mirror?
The finale.
episode?
The finale of season 1.
I think it was before that one. We started expecting around every corner something was coming out to kill us, and so nobody wanted to be the first person to step out from around a corner. And,
Yeah.
Maybe I've done my job a little too well.
Yes, there were some pretty suspenseful moments.
Yeah,
Like sneaking around the city,
sneaking
trying
around
not
the
to get
city
caught.
and walking up to and into the
Yeah.
Parliament building.
I was like,
Yeah.
That was so suspenseful.
Yes.
and
Yes.
Nothing actually happened. It was just full of
I
suspense.
could not bring myself to do it.
It's kind of interesting because Aaron, you talked about this about Brother Benedict in game, that scene brought things out about both Grayson and Benedict that were not their normal characters.
right.
Like, characteristics. Like, Grayson is not the first one to go charging into a place.
Right.
And he did multiple times. He was the one that started going in and then said, we're busting down this door and we're taking charge. And then when we had to leave the barrier, Grayson was leading the way. It was like, this is
not how you expect Grayson to act.
no, it's
Correct.
This was not a part of the play.
not. Which is interesting. Which means, did the voodoo magic in that place truly not affect us, or were we being affected by doing things that we should not normally do?
That's true.
Because of it.
Because we were more reckless.
You're
than I
more
think.
opposite of what you normally are. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I took on more of Benedict's qualities, and you took on more of Grayson's qualities by not wanting to be
the first
the
one.
first one.
Huh.
Volunteering somebody else to do it.
That is correct.
And it was more, I see a situation, I'm taking charge and going into it.
So it was kind of,
The insanity room.
yeah, in a lot of ways. But also, that it's interesting how that can be explained. An unintended side effect of what was going on
Yeah.
can be explained by saying, oh, well, it was a part of it. It's almost like it's a little bit of a retcon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it worked for the situation.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you get in the room and it's like saying, you must cede the crown to the baby and she, that just brings the terror level up even higher.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the brief comic relief of Benedict and Grayson busting in the door, expecting to just like silence the room and take charge, and no one really cared.
Yeah.
At all.
They were all killing each other and bashing heads in and
So-
choking each other out.
And also,
stabbing each
That
other.
was part of the, I think, the magical effect is because all you were hearing was the sounds of argument.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you open the door and you see what's really happening.
Pure pandemonium.
Totally.
You know, I wonder if the magical effect, you going in first, and what if that affected me as well? Like, because I am one of the people that normally not afraid to go into a situation like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like, I just could not do it. I saw that thing up there and I saw the wall. And I just could not bring myself to go through that wall.
Yeah, well, so that's sort of how I was playing Grayson. Like all this session was, Grayson is out of his element, and especially with the wrinkle that Jordan threw in about when have been around the Mist Court, that no one remembers us. That just totally destroys Grayson's world, like because he is who he is because he has
I'm
built
still convinced we're in a parallel universe.
contacts with everybody else, and he knows things about other people and can go to them for favors.
Mhm.
So, Jordan, you officially stole my perk away from me.
I'm so great
My
that way.
perk is people owe you.
Yeah.
Now no one remembers me, so they don't owe me anything.
They still owe you. They just don't remember that they owe you.
Oh, they owe this other really good friend that did a dealing with them for shoes. Is like Grayson in the back of the line is like, that was me. You did the deal with me.
So this was the second episode in a row, looping back to the Parliament scene. Second episode in a row where I used the art I posted
Yes.
at the event to kind of shadow what was going on. And I have to be honest, that was kind of a last minute addition to my notes. I wrote all of my notes in about the span of a half hour while my wife was running a marathon and I was waiting for her at the finish line. So I was like sitting there just typing that away on my phone with my thumbs, and I managed to write everything up. And it was like, oh yeah, originally it was going to be at the palace. Like this was going to appear at the palace, but then no, the Parliament makes even a better story because you're assaulting all the different levels of the government. You have the Queen is missing, so the palace is essentially neutralized. You have the church has been taken over because St. Aldrich's is the cathedral of the entire church, and now you have Parliament under this weird, horrific spell as well. So all three levels of Angelian government is completely a shambles at this point.
And apparently not a whole lot of the actual people in charge know about it.
Yeah.
Which is the scary thing.
Well, again, these spells, if they're making people forget you, and that's just an unintended side effect of your cytoquence.
Cytoquence.
I said that.
New
Yeah.
word. Cytoquence.
Cytoquence.
Side effect / consequence of your allies. Think what someone who's trying to be deliberately destructive is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
obviously, I need to get stronger in my magic abilities.
Yeah.
It was remotely possible for me to dispel that effect over the Parliament, but very remotely possible.
Yeah, I just threw that in as flavor text, and you're like, how can I get rid of it? I'm like, oh my gosh. I hadn't thought that far.
Oh, and look, I was planning on just getting rid of it on Liberace there.
Liverage. It's itchy liver.
He's become the Goldsmith Steenberg of this campaign.
There is I'm not going to say too much, but there is a way. I thought of a way to maybe counteract some of the magic.
Yeah.
But at this point, you haven't really seen it. It's been foreshadowed, but it hasn't been revealed at this point.
You haven't seen the actual magic of the Banshee, is what you're saying?
No, you haven't seen the way to counteract it. It's been the way to counteract it has been foreshadowed, but it has not yet been completely revealed.
I really wish Benedict had been down in the catacombs on the way down and been able to see all the
that could have been an interesting experience for Benedict.
the different murals and the
And the layers of bones.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys, you totally went a totally different direction than I was expecting you to go. I had laid it out. I was like, okay, silver platter. We're going to do this. And this is going to be all about the catacombs and really cool stuff going on with that and everything like that. And
you said we have to find the queen, the key.
Yes.
Yeah, remember where my mind is rescue the queen.
Right. But the key, that's part of what's in the catacombs.
Yes. But we didn't know about
the keys in the catacombs.
No, the key is not in the catacombs.
He said that's a first step to finding the key.
Well, we have a reason to go back down.
Yeah.
Yes, we gotta get the weapons.
And I knew you needed the cold forged weapons too, so I decided that that would be a perfect in.
Which was a good idea. Because cold forging weapons isn't a normal practice. A lot of smiths do it, but they don't like doing it because it's a lot harder to work with the metal that way.
Giving kind of actual structure to your metal, yeah.
Yeah.
And also something that needed to happen for us to be able to actually do some stuff without looking over our shoulder every 5 seconds is clear the air with the Privy Council.
Yeah, that was a burr on our sides.
I liked that
like
one.
none other.
I liked giving you that problem though,
Mhm.
because you went from having the full resources of the government
Yes.
behind you as like officially sanctioned spies to now being, and also you got to remember that
It was like being Batman.
yeah,
Yeah.
Only better.
Only poorer.
Yeah.
but also I've been thinking that this Liverich's behavior in the last episode was strongly influenced by the Fey magic.
You think?
So and that explains a lot of the like his behavior in the Privy Council room and everything like that.
Oh, you're talking even then.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because the magic had been in effect for several days. It was several. Remember, there was like a several-day break between the end of last season and then the Brother Ambrose or Master Ambrose's funeral.
Which I remembered something that we never did was have a funeral for Byram.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have his body. We had to leave it
In the woods.
at the Densham estate.
Yeah.
So,
He was
yes,
still left
I'm
there.
there rotting in the woods.
And he was
Well, no, probably
Scavengers.
not even scavengers. Probably Dencham's people probably just burned it,
Or fed it to the Fae.
or that.
Yeah. The Vavanchi.
We may see Byram again.
Vavanchi. Oh, thank you for that.
Dang it!
No!
Vavanchi. They eat dead people. The Mistcourt, dead fish.
It's all death. Dead.
Yes.
Well, you eat dead things too. Don't.
I
flatter
prefer
yourself.
alive.
Cows.
If you go walk up to a Guernsey and take a bite out of it, I will give you $20.
Right now.
It's a cow.
Oh.
No, Guernsey is a supply company.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But let's go ahead and talk character advancement and best role playing and stuff like that.
Okay,
There's a lot of good stuff.
Which one do we want to tackle first? Because this one is going to be
Let's
insane.
Let's go with advancement.
Character advancement.
That's hard.
I'm going to go ahead and give you all 15 points.
15.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll take that.
Because you spend so many character points.
I spent 3 hero points and 4 character points.
You had a rough night.
Yeah, we talked about that in session of the last episode. That Grayson used magic more than he has ever used magic before. He used invisibility, used teleport, used illusions, and slumber all in one day.
Yes. In quick succession for some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I was finally able to shift.
Into your mouse.
All right, so
And I
character
learned something
advancement.
important during that.
Jorus had some good, I thought. And Grayson had some good character advancement.
Benedict had self-discovery.
I think all three, well, I guess not Brother Benedict, but Jorus and Grayson both had self-discovery time because of the loss of people knowing them.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was thinking about that. It's like, but that is not really advancement. I mean,
No.
That was
For-
complicated.
Well, not for Grayson, certainly.
for Grayson, that is, out of everybody here, that hurts Grayson the most.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
But it
definitely-
was
I mean, 'cause
like
that's what he was good at, is
He was
manipulating
trying to find out
people
how to
that he knows. And now no one knows him.
Yeah.
trying to find out how to cope with people not knowing.
So that's why he
who
was that's why he was so excited when he got all the guards to listen to him and follow him. He was like, yes, finally I get to tell somebody what they should actually be doing. Because no one has a clue what they should actually be doing.
Right.
So I just realized something. We're supposed to report back to Cheddar every 2 days. So we're spending all this time around the Mistcourt. So every time we go back to
And who are you again?
Yeah.
Oh man, but he doesn't know us that well, so maybe it won't
yeah, but
take effect.
Yeah, that's the hope.
yeah,
Which I think.
We spent a whole day apart from Demetrius,
and they knew each
and
other
they
really well.
and yeah, we know each other really well, and we're still.
I was so worried about that.
Honestly,
That would've been-
honestly, I was halfway expecting Jordan just to be like, and you don't recognize him. Thanks so much for listening to Bone Thrower.
No, I mean, I could have done that, but then it would have made a lot more work for myself. Because then, no, honestly, I figured that you guys had met Adorin at the same time. You had spent the same amount of time with him, and then you went your own separate ways for most of the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
essentially,
then I spent a few more hours with Adrian by myself.
you did.
Adrian.
Yeah, you did
Adrian.
spend
Adrian.
Adorin. The way that I
Adorin.
say it is Adorin, and I'm the boss. So
So what you say goes?
pretty much,
Adrian.
Phonetically.
you had a little bit more of time with him. I don't think it was as much since you had the same initial amount. That kind of set you at the same level.
Okay.
You know,
I was just totally expecting that complication to come in there right at the end.
Yes.
I totally was. When you said, no, let's play this out, I was like, oh, he's going to do it.
And I was fully expecting to have to go, like, try to tackle somebody in case someone really freaked out or...
I did. Yeah,
The whole memory wipe thing can actually work for my benefit quite a bit.
I think it actually helped establish Walsham's career as a spy master. To have spent several years
Yeah.
as living in the Fey courts and
Yeah.
being half Fey. I really do think that
Oh, yeah.
that established him and made him pretty much the man that he was.
Question is,
Well, learning that
because he
just,
was half Fey, he probably was able to control who could remember and who couldn't.
Yeah.
That would be a nice skill to have.
It would be a very nice skill to have.
And that's how you, like, retire spies. Like, they all of a sudden, they just don't know who he is
It's like
anymore.
Men in Black, Agent K.
Yeah.
They just don't remember anymore.
Yep.
Devious.
Pretty awesome.
Too bad that's... Well, thankfully, that won't happen to us.
The disc, the black disc at the end,
Oh, I like that.
that was so amazing.
I like
Because
that.
I had no idea where it was going.
I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
So we got off
So, yeah.
track.
Yeah, we did.
Character advancement.
That one's tough.
It is
It
very
was
tough.
really tough.
I feel like it was an action-packed episode that also had a lot of good character advancement and roleplay. So that makes it even more difficult because
It was suspense filled. It wasn't a whole lot of action, but it was
Right.
very suspenseful. Like, we're getting off topic again, but this was something I was going to bring up. We rolled initiative once, and Grayson got to go and ended the combat.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it still worked for where the story was going.
Yeah, it worked for that situation, because that was
Yeah.
not one we wanted a long drawn out combat anyway.
No,
we wanted
'cause as soon as it started getting... It would exponentially grow, because first guy and then two more guys.
Yeah, you were already in the midst of a brawl, so.
Right.
So, man, character advancement.
My vote is for Grayson. I think the putting himself out there, whether intentional or not.
I did get a character point for that. I mean, a hero point for that, which doesn't carry over anyway, so.
Nope.
Oh, well.
No, but it was an awesome moment that had to be rewarded.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And for Grayson also being willing to throw down, even though no one was going to notice in the chamber of the "we will not save the crown to the baby in the sheep."
That was hilarious.
I just love that moment, the way I could picture it on like the TV screen.
I think that if Jorus had been there for that, his level of respect for your character would have just grown exponentially.
Probably.
But Jorus was terrified of going into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he did not move from his spot until he saw them coming out of the wall.
Poor Demetrius was all on his own most of the campaign this time.
I would have to vote for Benedict for character advancement. Mostly because that Parliament scene was so driven for character defining
Mm-hmm.
like moments for both characters that
And then the idea that you walked away thinking that the magical incidents that happened were miracles
divine.
ordained by
Yes.
God.
and
I appreciate
I didn't
that.
intend it, but Grayson sort of pushed that over the edge. It's like when he's talking to was it Cheddar but it didn't happen before. But now that Benedict's around, it's happened a lot more.
And so it'll be interesting to see how Benedict starts feeling about more miraculous happenings in his presence.
Well, according to the roll of the die, my vote is for Benedict. Well, I couldn't decide between the two, Benedict or Grayson.
My vote is for Benedict, and it's because that last scene he had where he was preaching
Yeah,
to
that's true.
the Fae.
That's something he's never done before.
He's never had an opportunity to do that before, and this was a chance for him to do that, and he did it in the midst of his being upset with himself for his own thoughts and actions, and it was like a
Very good.
trying to like a self-redemption moment
Yeah.
Very good.
where he's like,
That's a good one.
I betrayed my own rules, my own
Literally.
law, my own code.
My own personal code.
Now
And-
I feel like I have to save souls.
Yeah.
Benedict gets the point.
Role playing. Yeah, I really like the kicking down the door scene, but
That is going to be forever etched in my mind as the scene to remember. It's Benedict and Digby. Boom! We will not save the crown to the Banshee.
I almost picture it like you start off super loud. We will not see the crowd to the pavement. You're confused by what you see.
Just like, what in the world is going on here? Well, this is what politics is.
Yeah.
So,
And then Benedict and Grayson just kind of look at each other and just take off running towards the middle of the room.
yeah,
so even as great as that scene was,
Yeah.
I really liked Demetrius's interactions, like with Adrian and with the blacksmith.
the as of yet unnamed blacksmith.
Yes,
I had to do that whole thing where I tried to go to the Horologist Guild,
that part was great too.
and they were like, well,
We
who
don't
are
know
you? And I was
you.
like, oh yeah. Well, I'm not from here, so I'll ask you where I need to go.
Would you mind signing our book?
Signs it.
I had great pause there.
Lewis Masters.
I had great pause there. I was trying to figure out how to say no without being like so rude. So I was like, I got it. I just need directions. That way I didn't have to be a visitor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My vote is
Yeah, and honestly, I think those scenes there was a lot that pushed the story forward for you guys. This time with Adrian, that
he pushed
Jeff
the GM story forward.
he pushed the story that I've been kind of developing in the background, because I knew for a long time that the reason it was called the Fated Realm was because the Fae left.
Yeah, which brings me to a question that I have to ask about the split of the Fae. Like how it became two separate things, and
I think that's all.
and if it
Well, for
has
sport
any
in-game.
correlation to the split of the church.
Ooh. At least from the
What we know
kind
about the
of
split of the
feeling
church.
that I've gotten from descriptions of the way Jordan has been talking, it seems like the split of the Fae would have happened long
time ago.
before.
Yeah, centuries ago.
Like,
Yeah, but would the split in the Fae have caused the split in the church?
Well, the split of the church just
Well,
happened
I mean-
a couple
But
generations ago.
Yeah,
is
I
it
understand
the physical representation of a spiritual problem?
it would have, because it would have caused the split because it was the Banshee that made the deal with the king.
Yeah.
Whereas if there had been one united Fey court, there wouldn't have been no Banshee for the king to make the agreement with. Which
Right, or no one side of the Fae trying to get power over the other side of the Fae.
correct. So if we can reconcile the Fey, problem solved.
Maybe.
Sure, by reconcile, you mean kill the Banshee? They stole my
So
queen.
for role playing, I'm gonna have to go with Aaron. Scenes that pop out, obviously, besides the whole Parliament scene, which I thought was fantastic all the way around, but just sticking to character, even when in the dungeon, saying like every 10 minutes, it's like, I have a message.
That was
Just
pretty good.
that fits with Benedict.
And also his willingness to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
but pre-Parliament scene.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Parliament.
And that was one of the things that I was thinking is, he is clearly the least influential of the group, aka the most disposable of the group, which is why he was willing to put himself out there. Sadly,
I trick because I'm clumsy. Oaf. Master Spy's a clumsy oaf.
That was
I
so
trip.
funny.
All the time.
Yes, you're not a master spy.
How do you know?
Oh, I know.
I used to work for military intelligence. Anyway,
So we have a vote for.
so we have a vote for Aaron and a vote for Jeff.
2 votes for Jeff.
Oh, you vote for
You
Jeff
vote
as
for
well?
Jeff too? Okay.
Yes, for much the same reason. The sneaking, the whole catacomb scene, and that whole, he got exactly what I wanted on my staff.
Without any notice from you.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, I was like, what does each person use as their weapon? You got the long sword, the staff, obviously, because it's in my hands.
And you forgot.
Well, I didn't
Grayson
know.
used.
I knew you
It's
used a
'cause you've been
crossbow.
together so long, he forgot you.
No, I knew you used a crossbow, but I didn't
He didn't.
know if you had
a blade
any,
also.
any blades on you. Because a
I
blade
mean, I do
would...
have a knife, but that is like last ditch desperation. I need to have something.
It sounds like Jeff takes it.
Unless who you're voting
No.
for, Jeff? You vote for Aaron. Jordan gets to decide. And now Jeff's going to vote for somebody else besides Aaron, just so he gets the point.
Robert's Rules of Order at work.
I vote for Elizabeth Swan.
What?
Yes.
I actually would vote for Aaron, just because, like I was saying earlier with the character advancement, where he was like, okay, I'm going to go preach to these Fae, because what do men of the cloth do? They preach the gospel of God to people who don't know Him. And also the whole staying in character thing while he was in the dungeon. I have a message.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, I thought that Brother Benedict had an understated role in this episode, or this series of episodes, but I thought it was really good. Because, like you were saying, you went a step beyond where I thought you were going to go. Because I assumed when I decided to focus on your character for the last few minutes of the show, I figured that you would go back to the monk that you had been talking to in a previous series of episodes, trying to discuss your moral code and what you saw as a moral lapse. But you took it in an entirely different direction and decided that you were going to take your own destiny in your own hands, no matter what anybody else thought.
Which is kind of what he's been building towards
Slowly.
slowly.
So go ahead and take that point.
I can do that.
I can do it 9 times.
Now for the snack.
We had key lime
Key lime
pie.
pie, which is always great.
We had pumpkin snaps.
Pumpkin roll and pumpkin snaps.
The pumpkin snaps are good.
We're recording on the second Saturday of September.
All the fall things.
All the fall
Are just
All
starting.
fall things.
Oh gosh.
My wife and I stopped at Starbucks on our way home from the 5K. I had hot chocolate, and she had a pumpkin spice latte. So
I also had hot sake the other night because it's now starting to cool off enough for
Hot
sake.
beverages.
sake,
Yeah.
We also had pizza rolls.
Yes.
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls.
And jalapeno.
And
chips.
jalapeno. Well,
Sour Patch
Sour
Kids.
Patch Kids as well.
Sour Patch Kids are kind of a staple.
Yes,
Though.
they're staple.
You can tell things have gotten serious in the gaming session when the Sour Patch Kids break out.
Oh yeah.
This is getting too stressful. I need some Sour Patch Kids.
My vote is for the pumpkin spice ginger snaps
Yeah, you mentioned that even upstairs while we were
Yes.
stuffing our faces with them.
because they were delicious and pumpkin flavored.
They were very snappish, actually.
They were
There
very
was, there was a lot of snap going on those.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, so I'm voting for a key lime pie.
I think I would second the key lime pie vote.
It was actually really good for a store-bought key lime pie.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
good for a store-bought key lime pie.
I was really surprised at how good it was.
I'm going to vote for the pizza rolls just because that was my dinner.
Yeah, I think it was all of our
Yeah, it was
dinner.
all over dinner.
Yeah.
It's like you got like the extra large bag of
Yeah, I
this.
got the
It's-
big bag and they're all gone.
Yeah, we killed that.
Yeah, Jeff, when he put them on the tray, was like, "Yeah, that's a lot of pizza rolls. I can take whatever is left home." I was like, "Jeff, you think there's
I
gonna
was
be
thinking
some?
there's gonna be like 4 or
there's gonna
5
be
left.
some
that people
left.
were like, didn't feel like
It's like, I don't think there's going to be any left.
No.
It's like, that when Garfield gets the bowl of food set in front of him and he just takes both hands and shovels it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So that's my vote is peach rolls because that was my dinner.
Sounds like the key lime pie wins.
Key lime
All right,
pie.
Johnny. More character points for you to spend not to die next session.
Hey, I didn't die this session,
It's because I didn't throw much combat.
and I was terrified
You
to
were
move.
paralyzed.
Johnny was afraid that if he stepped towards the park building, the thing on top was going to kill him.
Yes, it was going to eat my face.
No, to be fair, we were all afraid that
Yes.
the thing on top was going to kill us.
That's the greatest part. I just said, there's a giant thing floating in the
But
middle of the air. And
even-
all of you just kind of stopped and went, oh no.
But even when it
Oh, dear
didn't
God.
do anything when you went into the building,
Yeah.
I was still paralyzed.
Well, yeah, I mean, but so far we have no way to combat said thing. So
if
it's
it
like,
came down,
if it came down on us, what are we going to do? Shoot it? Or hit it, and it's going to just clang right off of it like everybody else has been doing.
Unless you have cold eye.
Well, yes.
well, and especially,
We didn't at that point.
Right.
So.
and Benedict didn't even have his staff. He would have been
We
brawling.
will next
Oh,
time.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, he would have been straight up fisticuffs with the Grim Reaper.
That would be awesome. I would
Sounds like
approve.
the scene that should have been in Bill and Ted.
Fisticuffs with Grim Reaper. Check. The note has been made. For something that I dashed off in half an hour while sitting outside at a 5K, I think this session came together really, really well. I think I'm getting, just to talk a little bit about behind the scenes stuff, I think I'm getting the hang of how I want to handle my GM notes. Because with Terra Proximus, 9 times out of 10, I walked out into the room with nothing even written down.
Because you didn't have to, because we would
Yeah.
break our own legs
that one was.
and fight each other,
Yeah,
and
it
that would
was-
be the combat
This
for...
is a completely different type of.
It's a completely different type of game, and I feel like I'm a good GM for PvP, for player versus player campaigns, because I just was like, oh well, how do you feel about that? And then it's just like, everybody jumps at each other's throat. But this one, it's a lot more plot driven.
Yeah.
And it's a very different kind of approach. So I have to actually be a little bit more prepared when I come in.
You have to have a basic storyline.
Yeah. Well, I don't even write a storyline. I write 3 things that happen. So tonight.
That's a basic storyline.
Yeah, it is to a certain degree. The 3 things
Outline.
that happened were the party sees posters describing them. If they meet someone they previously know, those people won't remember them. And a large figure wrapped in a death shroud begins floating over Parliament. So those were the 3 things that I had written down. And then I also write down 3 places. So I wrote down the Cathedral, Winsinger Theater, and the Undermarket. And then I write down 10 secrets. And then
He tells us all the secrets.
I don't tell you all the secrets. Actually, I did not
tell
yet.
us any of them tonight.
No, I did. I did tell you several of the secrets. When the mortals.
Which ones did you not tell us?
So I let me look over these. When the mortals spend a lot of time with members of the Mistcourt, they start fading in the minds of their loved ones.
Their loved ones?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, romancer all over again.
As a young man, Walsham lived in the Mistcourt. The oldest parts of the catacombs have both Mistcourt and human bones buried together. Yeah, and several of the other ones I haven't even touched yet. But then I also have stats for Rafe and Aderin and also the Goat Man. So
You have stats for Aderin?
I do have stats for Aderin.
So when we go into battle, he won't die as quickly as I will.
That is something I want to get into, though, is asking about the actual split of the Fae. Like, what happened with that.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Because that may give us more insight into how to deal with the situation.
He's giving you
Or who
warning
to
to think
approach.
about that.
I know. And I get a message received. But also, I was doing some note taking here. Like, I made a note about the pay for forging with 6.5 measures of gold and 6.5 measures of silver. Broken blade with residue on it because we still don't know why that blade came about. So I might actually cannibalize some of my secrets, stuff like that. So I mean that's all I'm doing, but
Yeah.
You know, I tell you guys something, and then it spins in a totally different direction. And more often than not, you guys come in and I say, what do you want to do? And you're like, we want to go do something completely different than everything you have planned. But then it's like, okay, well, I know that there's going to be a giant magical thing floating over this, so let's just move that to another location. Immediately when you guys walked out, it's like, well, we're going to make it hard for you because the wanted posters and some magic and
no one remembering us.
No one remembering you. And I feel like I set you guys up at the beginning to be like really frustrated for the entire session.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Especially with having to sneak around through the entire
Yes,
city.
but you had a lot of good sneak rolls.
Yeah,
I did.
You were blowing it out of the water with your rolling tonight, which is
because we weren't in combat.
so unlike you.
And I switched wild dice a couple of times.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to cover? Anything they want to discuss? Any speculation about?
I'm not giving you any ideas.
Nope.
I'm telling you, we're in a parallel universe.
Yeah,
I liked that idea.
I
did.
yes.
That was a good idea.
Like when we went through the mirror, we didn't go to our world. We went to
Yeah.
An alternate.
yes.
Because that's about when all of our problems really started.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know.
All of our current problems.
Yeah,
really
old
started.
problems.
Yeah, because there were problems.
But when
But
we came
then-
through, that's
but
when
then
the dome was over the cathedral.
We went through the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through the mirror. The dome was over the cathedral when we came through. Walsham had been killed. Well, no, Walsham was killed before we went to the mirror.
Yes.
I just felt like everything was being pushed while you guys were trying to deal with Dinsham. You know, everything was like the Iberians were trying to push into town. The Fae were going about wreaking havoc.
Eating people's faces
Yeah.
Or their entire body whole.
or their souls.
I love how Adrian was like, I don't know why you guys are so weird around us. I just don't get it. Humans are weird.
Humans don't eat other people's souls.
I like that he wasn't offended when Demetrius was just like, yeah, I need weapons to kill Faye. He was just like, I'm cool with this.
He's the one who told you to use cold iron.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He just didn't like you forging it over their heads.
I think there needs to be at least a way that it is possible for people to remember us again.
There's a way.
We just need to hit them with cold forged iron.
Oh no!
You don't remember me? Whack! Do you remember me now?
I remember assault and battery charges. Yeah, no, I figure it's a temporary side effect.
Or if you die, I'm sure they'll remember you.
Yeah, the memory issue started specifically when you started hanging out with Adorin.
Yeah.
Because if you had no problems interacting at Brother Ambrose's funeral, or Master Ambrose's funeral, or at Cyril's funeral, she even shoved you into the puddle.
I was going to say we didn't have our own parallels in this dimension.
That might be the case.
Johnny's really pushing for this.
He's really pushing for this.
I'm not pushing for it. It's just like that's what's in my brain since the very beginning. Like
I don't think it is.
I don't honestly think it is. That's what I did think it was until he said, "Oh, the Mist Court puts a mist over your identity."
Yeah. Well, also, I wanted to me the idea of mist. The words "mist" and "faded" are kind of linked together because if you see something through the mist, then like the colors are all faded out and everything like that. So I was pulling from that too. All right. Anyway, I think we're pretty much toast. Good night, and thanks for all the fish.
So
The 3-day-old dead fish.
Yeah, 3-day-old dead fish. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means that you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @bonethrowerstheater, and also you can look us up on Facebook and Google+. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.